Wait for it.
Live streaming.
There you go. Checking the board. Come on. No data display, and it's live.
You see my screen.
I do not see your screen, sir.
Okay. Welcome to the January 2021 Omaha Linux User Group meeting, and I will now fumble around until I get my screen up.
Lower left-hand corner. Looks like a monitor.
I did that.
It may have changed when it went live.
Share your screen, your entire screen. Share audio. Oh, here. Let's do this. I was going to do my browser and then hit some tabs, but I don't know if it's going to let me. It wants me to pick on one browser.
What? Oh. You should be able to share everything. A window, a tab, or a screen.
Well, let's do this. We'll start here. Okay.
Hey.
Yay.
News of the,
oh,
news
no.
of the month. Let's see if I can pull this off. Okay, so Red Hat decided that they really didn't want to give away CentOS anymore, and they wanted CentOS to be more of a actual help to Red Hat. And so they are discontinuing their point releases, and they made a lot of people really upset because they cut the support for Rail 8 at the end of 2021, which, let's see if I can get to this next thing here. Oh, nope, I'm going to have to go out. Stop there, come back here. Oh. Aww. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go here. So there are two, count them, two.
Can't see your screen again.
I know. I gotta fumble for a minute. That's okay. Here, I'm going to do my Chrome tab. So one of the replacements is, excuse me, a group called Rocky Linux, which they seem to have a good head of steam. They're founded by Gregory Kurtz, who was one of the founders of CentOS. And they've got about 370 people who want to help. Now, of course, that means that sometimes it just means I just want to be on a mailing list, but they're doing pretty well. They're expecting sometime in the second quarter of this year they will be having their first release, and they'll map to whatever Red Hat has. The second one is Linux. Hey, I'm getting good on this. Your Project Linux. And these guys are fired up by the Cloud Linux OS creators. And the same thing goes. This is supposed to be a open source equivalent of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So I think this one might have a little more corporate money than Rocky, but I think Rocky will probably get some more corporate money because there are a lot of people who use CentOS because they didn't want to buy Red Hat. and they probably got a few shekels to pass out.
I think the Cloud Linux guy said they're going to spend $1 million a year on this or something, because they also use Cloud Linux as their main OS for their stuff.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Once again, I can't remember who had that quote, but when there's damage on the internet, it routes itself around, and this kind of goes the same. This goes in the same vein. So coming back to here, the next one was we've had a lot of discussion about this one at work. Is SolarWinds. And wow, is that bad? So I kind of, when I went through the list of government agencies that have been infiltrated, there are more there are probably more cabinet departments than not. They got the Department of Energy, Department of Justice. They've got they got CISA, which was really bad. They got into Microsoft. Microsoft says it's no big deal. I don't know about that. And I've heard, the water cooler is, well, they wanted the virus formula, and now they have it. Yeah, it's quite possible that they do. So we can talk about this after. I just had, my comment on this is, when I worked with a company that actually used SolarWinds, they really looked at SolarWinds as they were the good guys and we can trust them. And they probably, and the people who use it now probably trusted it too much. And that'll probably change in the future. Okay, let's go back here. And the last one is Linus, because we always have to stop with a really good quote of Linus. And my
memory.
Yep. So modern DRAM is so reliable that it doesn't need ECC was always a bedtime story for children that had been dropped on their heads a bit too many times. You can find me complaining about this literally for decades now. I don't want to say I was right. I want this fixed. And AMD fixed it. So I don't think that will probably, I don't know. Is stomping on that elephant really going to make Intel do anything? Probably not. So, and that's the news of the month. And I'm going to get out of here. Okay, am I out?
Almost.
And okay. All right. So Aaron, take it away.
I'm going to share my entire screen. Can people see my stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So let's start the basics. So this is a question that comes up every now and then. How do you do a bug? How do you report a bug when you find one inside open source software? And of course, the answer to that is like everything with open source. It varies.
Aaron?
Everybody has different systems. Yes.
You see that thing that says you're sharing your entire screen?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for not mentioning that. I don't know why I was thinking the fact I'm sharing my entire screen. It's on my screen. I still wasn't thinking that was going to be on there. Huh.
You wouldn't normally think that it would be shared, right?
Yeah.
But it was weird.
Yeah, life is weird. So how would you file a bug is different in different distributions. Debian has their way of doing it. If you use Red Hat software, you can use, if you're using Fedora and some of the other systems like CentOS, you can use Bugzilla. But if you try and actually submit a bug to CentOS, they would always tell you just, hey, you should really use buy a support contract with RHEL, because that's what the purpose of that is, and stuff like that. And Debian's had their system in place, the Debs bug stuff, for a long time. So this is just a little bit of background about it. So is anybody in the group filed a bug with any of these groups in the past? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Okay. All right.
Only Red Hat for me.
Regular paid support contract. Oh, that's nice. Did you get successful resolution? Just out of curiosity. Or did you get the pound sand?
Yes, I did. It's just that the way it worked out is they bombarded me with answers. So submitted the ticket. They gave me back their what they think is the resolution. And then they gave me another one telling me this is a patch, but don't apply it yet until we test it. And then they sent me another email telling me that about a week we can do an update. And then they sent me another. So I really didn't get to do any of them. And then I just upgraded. So yes, I guess so. The good news is that we're actively responding to.
Yeah, if you do with the Oracle Linux, you do it all through their system, which is basically the same system they use for their database stuff. And there they have a variety of priorities, which you can actually set to a priority 1, which is supposed to be 24/7 working on it. But that's kind of changed with the way stuff's changed in the last couple of years. But so I filed a handful of bugs over the years. The first bugs back in 2000 when we were working at Heimdall about the Debian installer. They rejected the bug, saying it wasn't actually a bug, but they did give us clarification what we did wrong, so that was actually nice. So they did give us that level of feedback. I filed a handful of bugs here and there in various distributions. I filed several against actually Lindows, which their response was, "Hey, we're Lindows. We don't care. We're a scam." No, not a scam. A very fine distribution. That's back again. So a little background about Debian. Debian is a volunteer distribution. It is supported by the work of unpaid Debian maintainers. I think we do have a couple salaried people, but it's not very many. Debian is the base for a lot of other Linux distributions. Ubuntu, Linux Mint, which is actually based on Ubuntu, is based on Debian, Kali, Knoppix, and a whole bunch of others. It used to be back in the day, a lot of distributions were based upon Fedora or CentOS, but now a lot of them are based upon Ubuntu and stuff like that. I mean, Debian, it tends to go round and round, which one's the most popular, but Debian's on the upswing in that regards. So there are usually 4 releases of Debian at any time. There's actually 5, but the last one is called Old Stable, which would be Debian 8, which has no security updates, but you can keep trying to use it if you want to, but your stability is not going to be as great as it could be in terms of patches and stuff. There's Old Stable, which right now is Stretch, which is Debian 9, which has some security updates, but should move on. It tries to keep up to date and does a decent job with it, but you really should be moving on to a Stable. Stable right now is Buster. That's Debian 10. It's the current supported Debian version. It's much more about stability than the newest packages. An example being, if there's a bug in Apache, then instead of just upgrading to the latest version of Apache, which is what a lot of rolling distributions do, they'll actually usually reverse engineer the patch and apply the patch back to the current version if they can. And they only upgrade major versions when they have to and stuff like that. So it's really about stability. It really works quite well for servers and stuff like that. There's testing, which is Bullseye/testing right now. This will be Debian 11. It'll become stable in the first half of 2021. I should put a question mark behind that because that's always a question on that. People always ask, what is the Ubuntu has a release cycle. It's pretty obvious. It's every 6 months, twice a year, and the LTS releases are like every 4 releases. Debian's releases, the official policy is when it's ready, which sometimes means you can get a release every 2 years. Sometimes it can go up to 2.5 or down to 1.5, depending on how it goes. And there's Unstable SID, which is the name for the latest, greatest version of Debian, which will become the next great thing. It can be very interesting. All these are named after Toy Story characters in honor of Bruce Perrins. Sid is, of course, the kid who abuses all the toys because it's unstable, much like Sid. Which version of Debian do I run? My main desktop, I run Debian testing. Nice about that is you get newer versions of things like LibreOffice, all sorts of stuff like that. You get the latest version of that. Usually, you get the latest version of ESR, all that kind of stuff. I usually get burned once or twice a year by a very nasty bug. A month ago, there was a KWin core dump, which prevented KDE from running. If you ever run KDE, KWin is the thing that actually does the Windows. So no Windows, no KDE. So I ended up switching to using the Mate desktop for a couple days until the issue was fixed. I thought about just switching to SID KDE packages, but just use Mate for a couple days instead. One thing about Debian is you can actually set priorities and bring various packages from later versions into it. Like right now on my desktop, I'm running the SID version of Firefox, so I'm not ESR. I'm getting 8401, and I'm running the SID version of VirtualBox because the regular version of VirtualBox wasn't working because the Python 2 to Python 3 change was causing issues. One thing about if you do run testing is it will run pretty good between major releases, but when you get closer to actual release dates, it tends to get a lot more finicky because that's when people are trying to get all their packages pushed in for the cutoff, and the quality tends to go down a little bit. Most servers I tend to run stable. I do have a couple VMs on stable to play around with as well. I've tested this bug on all of them, and they all have stable and testing both have the same version of it. So what is the bug? So Python 3.1 has made some changes with regards to how it handles simple versus compound statements. So what I'm getting is cutting and pasting commands from one Windows creates issues in other Windows as it doesn't realize they're independent commands. So if you take like just 3 simple statements like this, import OS, import datetime, import pretty print, just very basic. Just 3 libraries you want to use in Python, and you put them into the 3.9 interpreter, which you see we did which Python, you're using the built-in version, built December 8th, 2020, and we do that. We get a syntax error, multiple statements found while compiling a single statement. That's not what we want. Those are actually independent statements. Yeah. So I want to do a comparison of this because this had been working for me a long way. The way I normally do my Python development is I have 3 big Vim windows open, one with the interpreter, 3 big external windows open, one with the interpreter, one with the source code, and one with whatever I'm cutting and pasting from, stuff like that. So it's kind of annoying for me that's not working. So I decided to see if that was something that I had wrong, and I went to the Debian stable release, which is running Python 3.7.3, to see if it has the same issue. So which Python 3.7.3, July 25th, 2020, and you run it, you see, forgot touch screen. And you see that actually handles it correctly. Each one is in one individual statement. So that's not good. So I think we got a bug. So I want to be a little better about this, make sure I'm doing as much as I can to do some of the groundwork for it before I do it, because I use Python quite a bit. So decided to go out and grab the latest version of Python 3.9.1 and just compile it up, which is just go off to www.python.org, wget the latest and greatest, extract it, configure it, take all defaults, do a make, and then try the locally compiled version. And it works. It's a little different because you see it puts all the arrows the same thing. So it still interprets them as multiple, as each one's individual line, but it knows that they're all together in the same cut and paste buffer. But from my standpoint, that works. So I've got a deviant behavior now, which I'm not really thrilled about. So the problem appears to be a difference between the Debian package version and the upstream version. It's reproducible for me. I was able to recreate inside a couple. I also tried this in an unstable VM, and it has the same behavior as well. So I want to make sure it wasn't something that was just broken in my testing version that was fixed in the upstream version. So you got to figure out what information you need to be able to file a bug. You need the Debian version, the package, which is not as obvious as it would seem to be, information to recreate the bug, the email address to hit to communicate with you, and how to use, we'll talk a little about how to use report bug. So Debian version, there's a dozen different ways to grab this. Cat Etsy release, Cat Etsy issue, Etsy Debian version, or there's always the classic LSB release-D or LSB release-A. LSB stands for Linux Standards Base. It was this dream people had many years ago of having a standard Linux distribution base that you would be able to run packages on, regardless of who it was from. Red Hat complied with it. Debian complied with it. Everyone was actually using it as a base. It was supposed to be the grand unification. So you'd theoretically be able to get Cyberpunk 2077 for Linux and run it on the game, regardless of the system. And it kind of fell apart. The only thing that really left is these little pieces of it. So let's run LSB release-A in my box. We get the basics, Debian, Bullseye SID, testing, and codename Bullseye. So we got what we need. So now we need to figure out which package. You need to know which package to refer to. Time for a little bit of depackage love. There's multiple ways of doing this as well. There's one package called apt-find, which you can install, which will build a database of all the available packages, and you can go from that. But that really doesn't, that takes a lot of time to install and run and compile and stuff. So if you have the package already installed, you can figure it out. You can hit packages.debian.org, do a search for Python 3 and figure out from that. Or you can just ask the install system via dpackage query, which is what we did. And that tells us dpackage query -S user bin Python 3. It is in Python 3 minimal, so we have that now. The next question is, do you have a report bug installed? You can support a bug in multiple ways. You can do it all through email. You can do it through some web forms. You can do it all, but the easiest way for Debian is just to use report bug. Just make sure you have it installed. Almost every distribution has it, but some deviants don't for some reason. I don't know why. So info summary. So we have report bug installed. You start finding a bug with report bug. You fire it the first time. It'll ask you for select your mode. Novice, simple prompts, bypass the technical questions. Standard, more extensive prompts, including stuff a moderately sophisticated user would be expected to know about Debian. Advanced, standard, plus you should know about incoming. Incoming is used for new packages that are updated. Expert, no hand-holding, shouldn't use unless you really know what the heck you're doing. For this one, pick novice just to make it easy for everyone, including myself. Advanced is actually not too bad. It has some decent stuff in there. Incoming is where packages go when they first get built by the Debian volunteers. It goes into incoming, then it makes it into unstable, then theoretically it makes it into testing, and some of them make it all the way down to stable, but most of them just stay in testing until the next release series. So you'll be asked a whole bunch of questions by a report bug. Do you have direct internet access? You kind of need that to submit a bug. Name to use, hopefully something descriptive. Email the address to contact you at. No, it'll be public. Do you have an MTA configured? You don't need to. You can use one of the Debian ones just through port 25, provided you've got an ISP that lets you connect out port 25. Some don't. The name of the package. You'll be asked to review the current bugs for this package to make sure that you're not filing a duplicate bug, and a subject name for the bug. So you'll also be asked to classify the severity of the bug. Important, major effect on the usability of a package. Normal issue with the package, for example, menu item or option not working. Minor things like spelling mistakes and cosmetic errors. And there's wish list, which is suggestions for new features. Keep in mind, Debian, for the most part, the wish list is kind of limited because most of the Debian groups are Debian maintainers are not the people who actually create the packages. They are in some cases, but a lot of times it's two different groups of people. So if you want a new wish list, a new feature or something like that, it's usually the Debian people won't add it directly, but you can theoretically ask the upstream people to add that feature, and then hopefully it makes it into that, then makes it to Debian and stuff like that. For this one, we put it as normal. Yeah. So it drops you into an editor session, allows you to put your information in. Let's take a look at the file bug report.txt. Oh, that's why it's not where I want it to be. So this is a basic of what I wrote up for it. Dear maintainer, have run Python 3.9 interpreter and attempt to print multiple lines of Python. I should say it's just an input fails. Cut and paste the following 3 lines in the buffer and then paste them into an active Python interpreter. Get the following, which is just what we saw before. Yeah. Do not get this error under 373 on Debian stable or under a fresh build of 7 Python 3.9 from source. Just wanted to include as much information as there is possible. Does not appear to be a terminal issue as SSH back in the box and so on and so forth. So, and this information is provided automatically by the system. Bullseye SID, data architecture, all that various information. Foreign architecture because I have the i386 stuff also installed. So it provides just enough information about how it's laid out. It lays out what all the Python 3 depends upon. It only depends upon dpackage and Python 3 minimal. So that's about all they really need, hopefully, to be able to figure out the bug. So you'll be asked to confirm you're submitting the bug, and then we wait for the email for the bug system. So I've also got the email saved, which is under email.txt. Come on. Yeah. So what I got was a thank you, standard form letter. It provides the bug number, which in this case is 97116, and also the URL to actually access inside the bug system. This is all automatically generated. It's been sent off to the package maintainer, which Doko guy, sorry. And it talks about how you can add additional information to it and stuff like that. So let's head over to it. And here's the actual bug as submitted inside the Debian system right now. And it goes off to this gentleman. And we can see what he maintains quite a few packages. So let's see what he has. So here's the current list of bugs and packages maintained by him. So it's not a substantial list. So what I'm not expecting a turnaround anytime soon, unfortunately. But the ones that I thought were interesting is will not fix, which is what I ran into years ago with Debian. There's a couple for that. But you just see the whole breakdown of all the stuff. There's a whole bunch of Python things going on. One of the things to keep in mind is Debian's still in the process of moving from Python 2 to Python 3. And that puts certain limitations upon how well the stuff goes, because that's causing some issues for packages. Like if you're running VirtualBox under testing and you're running the Debian package version of it, you're going to have real issues. Or if you're running actually the Oracle version as well, it's having issues because it's using libpx, and that is out of sync between the versions. So gives you an idea. So we've submitted the bug, which is great. Does that really do anything else for me? And the answer to that is no.
So they're on there. That's 3.9 is you're submitting the bug for, right?
Yep. It also happens in 3.8 and stuff like that. That's the current version of Python inside testing. Okay, so they're just now moving to Python 3 on Debian. They've been moving to it for some time, but they're getting they're purging Python 2 is what I should really say.
That requires the most effort.
Yes,
I think.
Yes,
it's triaging all those packages that have not been updated, will not be updated, abandoned, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, keep in mind also Debian has about 14,000 packages.
Yep.
So that it has the most packages of any distribution available. I mean, the Red Hat has probably 3,000-4,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Tops. I mean, that's and Fedora, even with its external repos, Ubuntu with their PPAs and stuff, no one really gets as deep into it as Debian does. Because if you run like full Debian with contrib and all that stuff turned on, it is a lot of packages. Because there's entire groups like astronomy, amateur radio, stuff like that, and have their own stuff. Yes.
I used to be on some of the Debian mailing lists, and it was amazing the orphan packages that would come through in the orphan package report.
Yes. Actually, that's one of my other to-dos for this year is to find a couple packages that are orphans and adopt them. Because there's some good ones out there and stuff like that. It's just the overall Debian ecosystem is phenomenal. I mean, it goes back a long time. It's the second oldest still existing distribution after Slackware, and Slackware is kind of in a limited state nowadays. So yeah. So the email I got back from them was that the bug status. Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't show that enough. So the bug status is no response at all. If there was any follow-up on here, there would be additional information, stuff like that. That's not great. So
when did you file this?
quite a while
That was
ago.
December 10th. December 10th was that email that you just showed,
Yeah.
or a status page.
Yeah. I've got the timeline in there a little further down. This isn't a showstopper for me, but it really is kind of annoying. I can grab the Debian source, make changes, and install it. I played around with that. That doesn't resolve it, so I think it's something else with the environment. I could downgrade to the version of Python from 3.9.1 to the Python 3.8 possibly, because Debian has Python 3.8 available in testing. I did that. That didn't resolve the issue. I can run the Python 3 that I got from python.org and run that one, but then I have to install it. It's in user local bin. I have to reinstall all my pip, all my Python accessory packages, all that kind of stuff, which is kind of a pain. I can try and grab the Python 3 package from SID unstable, see if that might fix it. That does not fix it. So, or I could just not use cut and paste and just go back to using VS Code and Thani or Idle or one of those things. So right now, my main thing is I'm actually using my Debian stable box to do most of my Python development right now, which I'm not totally thrilled with. So, yeah.
Aaron, are you saying if it's only when you cut and paste, or is it also when you just type it in?
It's only when you cut and paste.
Oh,
It's something with the, there's no additional information with it, and it doesn't appear to be timing related because it's just, yeah.
so like if you cut and paste it and into VI and analyze it with hex dump.
Yeah, it comes back the same. That's what's interesting about it. Here, let me,
And Debian can, because I've done it with Fedora and CentOS and RHEL before they kind of closed down RHEL somewhat, but you could tag other people that you think might be more interested in fixing the bug and more capable or something. Can you do that in Debian, or is it, you're left with the
you're pretty much stuck with
person
the
it was assigned to, and you don't have any choice of sending it, carbon copying somebody else?
You can try and raise it up through specs, but it's not. You can get through the Debian mailing list. You can ask more questions and stuff. If I put more information in there or something like that, update, he'll receive a new email update on that. The problem is that maintainers are maintaining quite a few packages. But you see, if I just cut and paste a line at a time, it all just goes fine and dandy. So something with the here it is up top. Like do like 4 at the same time, and it goes boom. You're back to being a multi-line, compiling a single statement. It's a problem with the newer versions of Python. They've added this new extended enhancements. It's one of their Python extension enhancement proposals. I haven't figured out which one it is. Yes, John.
Dave has his hand up.
Oh, by all means.
So, is it up to the maintainer whether it gets purged from the list or moved to not list? Is there any kind of we go through every 2 years, and if it's still there, we're just going to mark it not fixed or will not fix?
It varies from maintainer to maintainer. Some are really good about it. Some don't. It's a question how many packages there. That's one of the great things about Debian is it's very much a free for all in a lot of ways. One of the drawbacks about it is Debian can very much be a free for all. So there's no guarantee on this. What it comes down to.
Have you tried pasting from different operating systems?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah. If I SSH into it from remote box and stuff like that, it normally has the same behavior. It has the same behavior in 99% of the times. I found like if I do like 3 levels down of if I SSH to one Debian box, then to another Debian box, then go to the testing box back and do a cutting paste. There's something going on with the timing or something, just something, boom, boom, just off, just a little bit.
Are you using K-term?
What?
Are you using K-term?
Yeah, I've used Xterm as well and a couple other ones as well. Try it out.
So no difference between a KDE environment or a no.
Nope. Nope.
Same
behavior.
I would be curious to see when you're pasting it, having it piped directly through HexDump and see what it does.
It's the same stuff. It's something with the timing, I think.
But, like the time for the new line shows up.
Yeah, it's something about it. The way it thinks, there's something it's tripping. It's something internally. It hasn't been something that I've been annoyed by, but I haven't spent a great deal gone to that level of detail with it yet. Where I've put a packet sniffer on it for a while, wire sharked it, and it comes back the same. It's just something with the timing. It thinks it's one statement instead of 3. So
when is their next release?
Debian 11 is supposed to be sometime in early 2021. Okay. I hope it gets fixed before then. But it's also a thing that seems to mostly be affecting me. So, yeah.
Is 391 in SID right now, or is it going to go farther?
They're at 391 last I looked, which was a couple days ago.
Okay.
But here's a quick timeline of it. 2020 1209, found the bug and see if there's a way around, or it's just me. I filed the bug. And then it's just no updates. And of course, today there's no updates as well. So that's kind of bad. But that's the way it has to go. I mean, obviously, it's a volunteer distribution. If I want to, I can dig more into it and stuff like that. I don't think I've actually replaced the Python interpreter that's on there and just actually had a VM and actually moved that one to the side and took the version I compiled under it. And it didn't have the behavior. So somehow in the way it's configured or something, I've grabbed various parts from the packages. Hang on a second. Hello? Yes, this is Aaron. Okay, thank you. Bye. You too, thanks, bye. Nothing like having somebody just won't quit calling. So I got declined him twice and then the third time. So I was talking about resolving the issue. It's a problem with the timeline and stuff like that. So will it be resolved in 11? I don't know. I kind of hope it is, but you never know.
Okay.
So it's the way of life. The way other distributions has it, Fedora has their project is using Bugzilla. Which goes through a whole bunch of stuff with theirs. Ubuntu has their system, which is based on their Ubuntu bug. They also have an automated system, which will generate bugs in certain situations where a program dies and will offer to file a report bug. And then 99% of the time, I've said, hey, go ahead and submit the bug. It goes like, we already have this bug, or we don't care about it. So it's kind of pointless. So
you just haven't been the first person.
Yeah, that's it. But it tends to go a little bit here and there. But the nice thing about Ubuntu is they tend to have more of the internal ones that will actually kick off when stuff happens underneath the covers. So you don't have to be proactive opening the bugs. It's just the system runs. It's kind of like Mozilla has the same thing with its crash. In certain cases, it'll actually submit a report on that. So filing the bugs by the users help maintainers fix issues with the packages. You can learn a lot about the process during the whole thing. Here, let me show you another example of another bug I just got bit by the other day. Does everybody know what Lecter is?
From Russia with Love, it was the encoding device.
All right.
James Bond.
There's right now, one of the things I'm working on during my between time is I'm working on getting my website up to date. I was just initially laying it out with WordPress, a couple other tools. And I decided I'm really not just a huge fan of those. So let's just look at a tool that will actually take static code, take your code and render it as static HTML. So I did that, and you can just have to do it right. And I decided to render it using Lector, which is a really simple tool. What did I call it again? OLUG test. And if we do Lector server, it's actually kind of a cool project. And then we fire up a web browser. Come on. And if you see 5,000, you realize what that means in Python world. Oh, you do it the right way. Yes, I know that was wrong. Don't punish me. So it just creates a simple test website for you, just with the basic stuff on it. And one of the things it has is it has this admin control panel, which is what you use for adding attachments, all your old presentations, that kind of stuff, putting all your information. It uses a version of Markdown. It's a very cool tool. So very nice. You need to be able to have access to the admin interface to be able to do a lot of stuff with it. So I went out and installed the version of the Debian version of it, because they have it packaged up as well. In the OLUG good environment, I actually went out and just installed theirs through the Python, through the shell script command. Come on. Boom. Boom. You were. So let's do the basics here. Elector, quick start. OLUG test. OLUG test. And Firefox. Choke, 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 choke. Well, the thing about this is i5 is a IdeaFlex. It's actually a pretty decent machine. I don't know why it's not faster right now. So hit the localhost 5000. All looks good. All looks like it works for the most part. Everything's ready to put some Markdown language in there, start putting some content in there. Then we go off and we hit the admin page, loading interface, and you get nothing else because it doesn't have the packages correct. So getting ready to file a bug on this. So the first thing you do before you do that is Lector bug admin. And you'll find that this already has a bug filed against it. You'll also get access during the bug report process to review other bugs. But
2019.
Yeah.
Can you add yourself to it?
Well, the thing is, this has actually had traffic going against it. Still doesn't work.
Oh, January 26, 2020.
Yeah. So I was thinking about putting a little more information there as well. That's message number 10. So there's been additional messages which they haven't been made public and stuff. So that's kind of annoying. I mean, is it something I can't work around? Obviously not, because I'm just going to use the version compiles up. What that does is it creates a Pi virtual environment and stuff like that for it and stuff. So it's actually not too bad, but it's but still annoying. But it gives you an idea. I mean, every distro has bugs. It's just the Debians, they can be kind of annoying because a lot of times they try to, like if you go out and install Lector, it actually creates a Python virtual environment, pulls all everything down from you from pip. Meanwhile, the Debian guys are trying to use the other Python packages they have built in, and they're also having some issues with that as well. So, so it's kind of annoying. So it's just, it gives you an idea that there are bugs in all distros, but it seems like it's been an interesting path for me. I just seem to be getting bang, 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 bang. So, but it's definitely, I mean, you do learn more about the process, how well Debian works, how the maintainers work, all that kind of stuff. And I just have to hope that the Coco guy, that Daco guy gets some time, or I have to figure some way to get him some money and Venmo him or something to say, hey, would you fix this one for me? So
yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of how it goes, man. But if you haven't filed a bug, it is interesting to see how well it goes. I mean, if you play around with this versus other tools and stuff like that, to see how the process works, how will they resolve issues and stuff like that, you can learn quite a bit during the process. No, I consider it to be I consider that part of it to be a success. Of course, the rest of it hasn't been, but hopefully there'll be an update someday where I go, hey, they fixed it, or I just learned to live with it. So,
That's part 2.
Yeah.
Dealing with delay.
Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, I was wondering if, I mean, that a bug like that seems like it'd be pretty easy to have, use the command line X clip, or, you can paste and copy to the clipboard from the command line. So, I mean, I would think that could be a fairly easy automated self-test.
If you take text and actually redirect it to it, it will actually work. It's something. It seems to be something timing based. But I've been pulling I've pulled some of the setup packages and stuff like that over as well. So it's not actually. It's not based on the content. It's based on how the timing's working out. Somehow it's tripping it to think it's a multiple statement. But
so even if you use like X clip or one of those command line clipboard things, where you paste to the clipboard from the command line, it doesn't happen there. It's just
I don't know. Yeah. I haven't done that one, to be honest.
Okay.
But if I redirect from standard in, if I just CAD it to standard in, then just have it go to a file and go that way, it works fine. So from standard input, it works fine. If you direct it someplace else where it like buffers or something. So there's something with the timing. I don't know what it is, because it's something with the enhancements they've made to Python 3.8 and 3.9. Because they're trying to create this. One of the main concepts behind Python is every line is a single statement. But they seem to kind of be falling away from that now. So,
Aaron, have you tried putting blank lines between the lines to see what happens if it's a timing issue?
Yep, that's a very good point. I did that. I've been through a lot of variations on that. Yeah,
and no change.
No, if I put like hundreds of lines, sometimes it seems to work, but other times it doesn't. It's something with the way it's doing the timing, the interpreter. It's just in the butt.
Have you altered the order of those lines?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've altered the orders, put the same line multiple times. It's just that something with that. It can be any lines. If I put like a function in there and cut and paste the function, it also does the same thing, which is annoying. But if you have certain functions, like if you have the first line of a function is def function name and parameters and colon at the end, and then you do a couple different lines like that, it won't die in that first line. It dies in the second line because it somehow thinks there's a conflict between it. So it's interesting, though. But it's something with the timing on it. So, but if I run the version of Python I compiled up from python.org, it works just fine and dandy. So
interesting.
Yeah. It's been up and down, but that's the way my 2020 ended, and it's the way my 2021 is starting. So it's pretty much accurate.
Dave, we've got about 2 minutes. Do you want to say an ending thing so the stream is end capped?
Sure. Real quick, I want to share the screening or the speaker screen, the speaker schedule for the year. Come on, let me in. Oh my goodness. Let me go back in here. Okay, there I am. Share my screen. This Chrome tab. Okay, so I'll be doing Cockpit next month. We don't have a speaker for March. I've already done my first NAS on a budget. I built a couple open media vault NASs over the winter break, and I'm waiting for some parts on some Raspberry Pi NAS. So I think I'll be ready to go for that in April. And I had an email from Teal today, and he'd like to do some Ansible stuff in May. So if anybody's interested in March, you've got like 7 weeks to put something together. Give me and let me know. And then if you've got a long-term project and you want to pencil something in tentatively, please hop on the email or hop on the website, and you can hit this spreadsheet and put stuff in. And that is that.
Cool.
All right. I'm going to stop the live stream. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.